How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Kuf Yud Gimel, Daf 113 of Masechta BavaMetzia. Friends, your friends. So, today was interesting stuff. We start talking. I can't remember what we were talking about before this. Oh yeah. We're talking about like mashkons, collateral securities, right? So if Shimon lends Reuven money and he wants to. Reuben hasn't paid him back, so then he can take a security. So that's what we're going to talk about. So it says the Mishnah, and Daf Kuf Yud Gimel Merav Hamalve es Chavero. So if Shimon lends Reuben $1,000, lo yimashkinenu ela bebezdin. So he can only take a mashkin, a security, in bezdin. It says Rashi Hamalve es Chavero v'yigia zman v'lo parelo, and the time has come, right? The loan is due to be paid, and Reuben hasn't paid it back. So Shimon can take a security, but Davka in Bezdin. Le'mashkinenu ele bebezdin. Davka take a security in Bezdin. V'lo yikones leveso lito mashko. No, and Shimon can't go into Reuven's house to collect this security. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, bachutz ta'amod. He shall stand outside, and Reuven will take the security out to Shimon, who's standing outside. Hayulo shnei kelim. Now, if Shimon collected 2 articles from Reuven as security for the loan, notel echad umaniach echad. So he keeps one and gives one. So meaning, for example, says the Mishnah, so if he took, for example, a blanket and a plow. So a blanket, Reuven will need at night. A plow, Reuven will need during the day. So he gives the blanket back to Reuven at night, and he gives the plow back to Reuven during the day. Ve'emes eino machzir liyorshav. And if Reuven dies, so then Shimon does not need to return the security to Reuven's heirs. Instead, he just sells it, and that'll be the money that he gets, right? That'll be he'll just sell it, and he'll get paid back that way if Reuven dies. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Omer says, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel afla atzmo, even when Reuven's alive, eino machzir ela ad shloshim yom. Even when Reuven is alive, Shimon only returns the security. Shimon only returns the security to Reuven for the course of 30 days. But after that, after that, Shimon sells them and gets the money, and they move on. He's not stuck for the rest of his life every day returning the plow and every night returning the blanket. This goes on for 30 days. After that, he can sell it and get his money and move on. So now, we had said in the Mishnah that the Shimon cannot go into Reuven's house to collect the security. Shimon cannot go into Reuven's house to collect the security. What about Bezdin? What about a messenger from Bezdin? Can a shliach Bezdin go into Reuven's house to collect the security? So that's going to be a discussion for a big part of today's daf. Omar Shmuel, so this is the opinion of Shmuel that we're going to basically be discussing for a while. Omar Shmuel shliach Bezdin minateach natuche in aval mashkone lo. Says Shmuel that a shliach Bezdin can seize an object from Reuven, like in the market or something, but Aval Mashkon, he can't go into Reuven's house. Right? So you can seize something from Reuven and give that as a security for Shimon, but the Shliach Bezdin cannot go into Reuven's house. But Ve'otnan, but we learn in our Mishnah, Hamal ve'es Chavero Lo yimashkinenu elo bebezdin. But one second, our Mishnah had said that if Shimon lends $1,000 to Reuven, lo yimashkinenu elo bebezdin, meaning that, so what we want to say what it means is that Shimon, so Yamashkinenu, we want to say means to go into his house, into Reuven's house to take the security. So Shimon can't go into Reuven's house to take the security, but Bezdin can, right? Ela bebezdin. He can't do it. Ela bebezdin. Bezdin does it. Michlal de bebezdin memashkinen. That he can't go into Reuven's house to take a collateral, but Bezdin can. But Bezdin can. So Omelach Shmuel will respond, Ema lo yinatchenu ela bebezdin. No, it means that Reuven can't himself seize it, but Bezdin can. Shimon cannot himself seize it from Reuven, but Bezdin can. But neither of them can go into Reuven's house. Hachinam mistav, this taka makes sense. The katoni seifa, because the seifa of the Mishnah says, Lo yikones leveso litol mashkono, that the Mishnah had said that he can't go in to Reuven's house to take the security money. Who can't go into Reuven's house? Ilema balchov mereshish mamino. If you're saying Shimon can't go into Reuven's house to collect the security, well, we already know that, right? The first line of the Mishnah, Amalva es chaver lo yimashkinenu ela bebezdin. The Mishnah opens up by saying Shimon can't go into Reuven's house to take a mashkin. So I already know that. So why do I need it to say that is elalav shliach bezdin? Rather, it's the shliach bezdin. We're saying the shliach bezdin cannot go into Reuven's house. He can only seize it from him outside of his house. Imishuma lo iria. To which you say that isn't necessarily a proof for Shimon, because so the Agos Abach says that really you could say that the Mishnah needs extra words to be added to it, to be explained. That if Shimon lends $1,000 to Reuven, Shimon cannot go into Reuven's house to collect a security. Rather Bezdin. So we could say that it implies. We could say that the implication being is that Bezdin Taka can go into Reuven's house to collect the security. And on the other hand, the Balchov, Shimon, can't even seize the security. Out of concern that maybe he'll end up going to Reuven's house to collect the security. So you can say that the Mishnah is saying that Bezdin Taka can go into Reuven's house. So it's not a proof to say that Bezdin can't go into Reuven's house. Okay. You can explain it in such a way that it's saying that Bezdin can go into Reuven's house. Fine. So that's not necessarily proof for Shmuel. Most of Rav Yosef asked a kasha on Shmuel. Remember, Shmuel had said that Bezdin cannot go into Reuven's house. Rav Yosef asked a kasha on that premise. Lo yachbol rechayim varochev, that you cannot take a mill, like I think like a wheat grinding mill. So the rechaim I think is the lower part, and rechev is the upper part. The implication being, however, that other things you can take. And chavol implies going into Reuven's house and taking them. So you can't go into Reuven's house and take rechaim v'rochev, but you can take other things. Lo sachbo beged almono. You can't take the garment of a widow. Hashel acherim tachbo. You can take the garment of other people, and you can go into their house and take it. And man, who are we talking about? Inema balchov. If we're saying that Shimon can go in and take these other things. But the pasuk says Shimon can't go into Reuven's house to take the security. So rather it must be that the shliach bezdin is going into Reuven's house to take the security. That the shliach bezdin is going into Reuven's house to take the security. And that's what we're saying. We're saying, Lo yachbor echam v'rochav al dvar machim chavol. Right? You can go into, the shliach bezdin can go into Reuven's house and take these other things. So Tirgama Rav Papa b'eder of Nachman kamed of Yosef va'amrila Rav Papa b'eder of Yosef kamed of Yosef le'olam bebalchov. So they explained that no, not necessarily. You could say that it's talking about, that these psukim are talking about the Baal Chov, are talking about Shimon. And the diuk that we had made earlier is not the right diuk. We had said, Lo yachbo rechaim barochav hodavar macherim chavol. We said, right, that you can't go into Reuven's house and take a mill, but you could go into his house and take other things. No, that's not the right diuk. No, just like you can't take a rechaim barochav, you also can't take other things because of losavel beis lavot avot. Right? So we can say that it's all talking about the Baal Chov, Shimon, that Shimon is not allowed to go in to Reuven's house to take Rechaim Barachim or Beged Almana. And also, and regarding anything else or anybody else, it would also be an issue of Lo Savel Beis Lavot Avoto. So why do I need it twice? If we have the lav of Lo Savel Beis Lavot Avoto, then why do I also need Lo Yachbo Rechaim Barachim? To say that if you do that, not only are you in violation of Lo Savel Beis Lavot Avoto, you're also in violation of Lo Yachbo Rechaim Varochev. But you could say that Davka, it's all talking about the Baal Chov, that he's not allowed to go into the house, and neither can a Shliach Bezdin. Tashma Kaminir Mimash Moshe Nemer Bachutz Tamod. Right? What does the pasuk say? The pasuk says, "Bachutz ta'amon." He's got to wait outside. And the person who owes you the money, Reuven, is going to take out the security to you. So Tashma Mimashma from the fact that it says Bachutz ta'amon, right? Stand outside. And from the fact that it says that, right, you have to wait outside. So Mamela, who's going to bring it out? Reuven, obviously. So why does it say v'a'ish? L'rabu shliach bezdin, to include the shliach bezdin. So that's what the Brisa says. So the question is, to include the shliach bezdin in what? My lav shliach bezdin kilove. Let's say to include the shliach bezdin like the love. That just like Reuven goes into his house and takes out the security, the shliach bezdin can also go into Reuven's house to bring out the security. Unlike Shmuel, who says that the shliach bezdin cannot go in. Lo shliach bezdin kemalvet, to which Shmuel would say no. The shliach bezdin is like the malvet, that just like the malvet has to wait outside, the shliach bezdin also has to wait outside. Tashma kaminir im chavol tachbol salmas re'echo. If you shall surely chavol, and that implies go into Reuven's house to take it, salmas re'echo, the garment of your fellow, b'shliach bezdin akosov medaber, and it's talking about the shliach bezdin. Atoma b'shliach bezdin akosov medaber enu ele b'val chov. Wait, how do I know that this pasuk is talking about the shliach bezdin? Maybe it's talking about Shimon. But when the pasuk says that you can't go into Reuven's house to take the security, that's talking about Shimon. Shimon can't go into Reuven's house to take the security. So what's pshat with im chavol tachbol salmas re'echo, that you will go into Reuven's house? B'shliach bezdin akosov medaber. So must davka be talking about shliach bezdin tanoi. To which the Gemara says, okay, you know what? You're right. We just had a brisa that says that im chavol tachbol means that the shliach bezdin can go into Reuven's house. So taka, you're right. Okay, we have a brisa that says that, but it's actually a machlokas tanoim. The Tanya is learning a brisa shliach bezdin. When it comes to shliach bezdin, shabal lemashkino, who comes to take a security from Reuven, lo yikanes leveso lemashkino, he should not go into Reuven's house. Elo omed mibachutz, the shliach bezdin waits outside. Behala motzi lo mashkan, and Reuven will take the mashkan out to him. Shenemar bachutz ta'amur v'aish. That Shimon has to wait outside, and also the shliach bezdin also has to wait outside, and cannot go into Reuven's house. But we have another brisa that says balchov sheba limashkino, that when Shimon comes to take a security, lo yikanis leveso limashkino, Shimon cannot go into Reuven's house. El omed bachutz v'ala nichnos umotzi lo mashkono. Rather, Shimon waits outside, and Reuven will go and take out the security for him. Shenemar, the pasuk says bachutz ta'amod, that Shimon has to wait outside. V'shliach bezdin, however, sheba limashkino areze nichnas leveso umimashkino. But the shliach bezdin can go into Reuven's house. As we're going to learn later on, that not today, but I think in 2 days, that you cannot take as a security something that is necessary for ochel nefesh, to eat. V'nosein mita umatzah la'ashir, and if Ruvain is an ashir, so then you leave for him a bed, and a bed with felt on it. We're going to ask why he needs 2 beds in a few minutes. Mita umapatz la'ani, and if Ruvain is poor, so we leave him a bed, and a bed with a mat. Lo avalo leishto, we leave these things for Ruvain, but not for his wife. Lo levanav levnosav, not for his children. K'derech shemisajin lebalchov kach misajin ba'arochin, and just like by a balchov, as we just said, that we leave these things that are necessary for him, right? We leave them for Ruvain. So also by arochin, okay? If somebody says that I'm going to give the erech of a person to the Beis HaMikdash, which is a fixed price based on their gender and age, so there also, if he doesn't have enough money to pay for the erech, so then we evaluate what he can afford and we leave what he needs to live on. So klapilai ikar siddha barochin ksiv. Wait, why are we saying that just like by a loan, the same thing applies to arochin? The fact of the matter is that arochin is actually the original source for learning that we leave him the things that he needs to live on, and we actually apply we apply a loan from arochin. So ela ema kederech shemisajin barochin kach misajin bebalchov. Rather fakir, just like by arochin we leave for him what he needs, so the same would apply to a balchov. So we see that there was a machlokes, right? There was one, it was taka machlokes tanoim in Brises. One Brises said that the balchov, that the shliach bezdin must wait outside with the balchov, must wait outside, right? Just like Shimon. And the other Brises says the shliach bezdin can taka go in. Okay, so we see it's machlokes tanoim. Omar Mar, we had said, no sen mita umatzah la'ashir, that we give a bed and felt for a wealthy person, mita umapatz la'ani, and a bed and a mat for a poor person if Ruvain's poor. Liman, for who? Who are all these things for? Who are all these beds for? If it's for his wife and his kids, we said that these things are for him, not for his kids. Rather, it's all for him. He gets 2 beds. Why does he need 2 beds? Well, he needs 1 bed for eating on and 1 bed for sleeping on. How come he needs 2 beds? How come he needs a bed for eating and a bed for sleeping? Why can't he use the same bed? Shmuel, it's like Shmuel that says Shmuel was a doctor, I believe. So I know all of the remedies for all of the ailments except for the following 3. If somebody eats bitter dates on an empty stomach, I have no clue what the remedy for that is. And somebody who puts some kind of moist flax belt or something around his waist, apparently that's pretty bad. And somebody who eats bread and then does not walk for amis. That's very bad. So therefore, to make sure that a person walks for amis after eating, you should have 2 separate beds. You have 1 bed that you eat on, you get up, and then you walk 4 amis to the next bed and go to sleep, and that way you'll avoid any terrible ailments. Tani Tana Kamed Rav Nachman. A Tana taught before Rav Nachman, that just like by arochin, we make sure that we leave for the person what he needs to live on. So we do the same thing for a balchov. We do the same thing for a for Ruvain, for a loan and a security. To which Rav Nachman says to the Tana, I don't understand. We had said, according to Abshur ben Gamliel, that after 30 days you could sell everything. Meaning, for 30 days you have to give it back during the day, during the night, depending on what he needs. After 30 days, there's no such concern. You just sell all of it and get paid back. So what do you mean we leave what he needs? Doesn't sound like that to me, says Rav Nachman. It sounds like we sell everything. What do you mean we sell everything? According to the Tanakama, according to the Tanakama, we had said that he's got to give back the blanket during the day, at night, and the plow during the day. So we see that according to the Tanakama, there's no selling everything. So Tanakh Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, Tanakami, yes, but this Tana was specifically talking about the opinion of Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, and he was saying that you have to leave him enough the vital things for him to live on. And this is what Rav Nachman responded to the Tana. According to Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, zabunim is abninon lei. According to Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, we sell it all after 30 days. Sadurim misadrinon lei. What do you mean that you leave his needs? You leave for him his needs. The Tanan is learned in our Mishnah. Reb Shimon Gamliel says, Reb Shimon Gamliel, Af la'atzmo eino machzir elat shloshim yom, that you only return things to Ruvain for the first 30 days. Mikam ve'elech ad mochron bebezdin. You push it, sell them in Bezdin, all of them. But one second, how do we know that when Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says that after 30 days you sell them, it means you sell it entirely? Maybe what he's saying is Ad Shloshim Yom Hadule Be'ene. Maybe what he's saying is for the first 30 days it's returned to Ruvain, just exactly how Shimon got it, he returns it to Ruvain. But Mikan Ve'elach, but after 30 days, Mehader Lei Lemai Dechazi Lei. He only returns to Ruvain his basic requirements, his basic needs. Umizabnina Mai Telo Chazi Lei. And he sells that which Reuben doesn't absolutely need, and that way, Shimon can get paid back with that. So how do we know that when Reb Shimon Gamliel says that you sell it after 30 days, it means you sell it entirely? Maybe it just means you sell anything above what he needs. The problem with saying that is that leka midi de lo chazi lei. The Amar Abaye, because Abaye says Reb Shimon Gamliel, Reb Shimon, Reb Shmuel, Reb Akiva kulu svilu kol yisod b'nei melachim hein. The thing is, Reb Shimon Gamliel is part of a group of Tanoim, which includes Reb Shimon and Reb Shmuel and Reb Akiva. That this group holds that kol Yisrael b'nei melachim hein, that all Yidden are the children of kings, and therefore they all have, there's nothing that would be considered that they don't need it. They have they're deserving of everything, and therefore, there's no such concept according to Shimon Gamliel of, well, this is good enough for you. You don't need more than that. What do you mean? It's Bnei Melachim, you're deserving of everything. So therefore, if there would be this svara that according to Shimon Gamliel you would only return to him what he needs, well, then you would have to return to him everything because he's deserving of everything because he's a Ben Melech. So again, I backed up a line or two. There would not be anything that isn't fit for him. Everything is fit for him. He deserves everything. The Amar Abai says, Reb Shimon Gamliel, Reb Shimon, Reb Shmuel, Reb Akiva, Kulu Svirlu, they all hold that all Yidden are the sons of kings. Reb Shimon Gamliel the Tanan. How do you know Reb Shimon Gamliel says that? Because the Mishnah says that on Shabbos you can't take out to Rosh Hashanah, you can't carry otzah, these kinds of beans and mustard seeds, because these things, what are you going to do with them? These beans are would have to be cooked in order to be eaten, and the mustard seeds would have to be ground up. So what are you going to do with them? So therefore you can't take them out on Shabbos. Reb Shimon Gamliel matir belof. Reb Shimon Gamliel allows this loaf bean stuff because you can use them to feed ravens. Now who has ravens? Bnei Melachim have ravens. They're very, very fancy ravens. Okay, so you see that Reb Shimon Gamliel says that all Yidden could take out these loaf stuff because they're all Bnei Melachim and they all could potentially feed ravens with them. Reb Shimon Gamliel, Reb Shimon the Tanan, and Reb Shimon holds Bnei Melachim sochin shemen vered al gabi makosein b'Shabbos. That the Tanakama says that the sons of kings can anoint rose oil on their wounds on Shabbos. Since they use rose oil during the week, So therefore, it's not specifically, it's not necessarily specifically for healing that they're applying it to their wounds. They apply it during the week. Anyways, they use rose oil. Reb Shimon Omer says, Reb Shimon, Kol Yisrael b'nei Melachim, mean that all Yidden are b'nei Melachim, and all Yidden can put rose oil on their wounds on Shabbos. Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Akiva D'Tanya, Harei she'ayu noshin bo elev zuz v'lovush itztila bas mei amano. If Reuven owed Shimon 1,000 zuz, and here he is wearing a really fancy cloak, mafshitin osa mimenu u'mabishim osa itzla ruilo. Well, we take off that really fancy cloak from Reuven, we sell it, and we instead buy him a more modest cloak, and the difference would go to Shimon. V'tana mishum Rabbi Shmuel, v'tana mishum Rabbi Akiva, Kol Yisrael v'uyin le'osa itztala, that all Yidden are deserving of such a fancy cloak. Now which entered our minds initially, that we would let Reuven keep what he needs and sell the rest of it. So I understand, a blanket and pillows. Okay, so sell if they're expensive, sell them and buy cheaper ones and keep the difference. But what about a plow? Apparently, I guess the assumption is a plow is a plow. There's no cheap plows and expensive plows. It's a plow. So what do you mean? Sell the sort of more expensive one and just buy a basic one. A silver plow. Okay. And the Gosu Tunim says it's some kind of like a comb of something of sorts that you'd use for, like, I guess your skin. That it was okay. I guess that isn't necessarily like something that is like vital, so you could sell that, I guess. Maskefla Rav Chaga v'leimale lav olai karamis. So Rav Chaga asked, but one second, why does this become Shimon's headache? Shimon lent Reuven $1,000. Reuven's not paying. Shimon wants to sell these securities to get paid back. We say, no, you can't. You have to leave him what he needs. Why do I have to leave him what he needs? He's not. Why is it my responsibility to be the charity, to be the community charity? It's the community. Let him go to the let me sell everything, get my money back. Let him go to the Gabbai Tzedakah and say, hey, I need tzedakah. Well, why is this my responsibility? Abai says, Ibro, the truth is, Olei Karami, it is your responsibility, and that for you, it will be considered a tzedakah. In the same, right? It says, Hoshiv Toshiv Lo, so Avod, Kiva Hashemesh, Ve'shochav, Besamosu, Ve'acheka, Ulchati tzedakah, Lefnei Hashem Elokecha. Right? We say that we give back the security to him when he needs it, right? And I guess included in that would be making sure, even when you sell it, making sure that he has his basic needs, because the Chati tzedakah, that it will be charity, and yes, there is sort of an aspect of charity involved here, and that therefore, it is considered part of your responsibility. Givaldig. Okay, so today we started talking about these securities that a malve can take from a love to get paid back. We saw the opinion of Shmuel, who said that so first of all, we said that the loaner, the malve, cannot go into the love's house. The lender cannot go into the borrower's house to take this security. The borrower will take it out to him. Shmuel said that the same applies to Bezdin, but we talk about it's machlokas tanoim. And all right, fine. That was Daf Kuf Yud Gimel Masechta BavaMetzia. Hope you enjoy. Peace out.